We didn't have a league team. We didn't really have anything set up. I had never coached before. I was just going by sort of my experiences as a player. Some of them were in trouble. They were sort of the lads that were ignored. So I decided to take them on. I still do. I don't take on kids that are sort of doing well. I take on the lads that are struggling a bit, or there's something different about them, so I can help them. So we worked on it for I think about 4 or 5 months in the park. So we every Sunday I used to play on Sundays. So after my game we'd work on the absolute basics, so bare bones of football, and we worked from there. And then we finally entered into a league. First season we finished second on goal difference, and then we really ramped it up in the second season. It's my third season now. So last season where we won the cup. So it was nice to from there to go from absolutely nothing to being sort of dismissed that you're not going to do anything, you badly behaved, and sort of that journey. If I'm honest, I probably learned more from the kids about myself than I could ever teach them. I've got I think 8 now at professional clubs. So we've got two at Villa, three at Blues, one and another one that's going to Blues next season. We've got one at West Brom, and we've got one lad who is now being paid in Leicester, who had never played in any sort of football before, so he had only ever played in the park. And really from there we've sort of grown. This year hopefully I'm hoping to lose another 6-7 to hopefully Villa, but I reckon some of them might go to Blues, which is it's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is, and hopefully they do well. Alongside that, I've got lads now that were failing in life in general, so they were out messing about, causing trouble, robbing stuff, but obviously that sort of team atmosphere reeled them in, and I've got a lot of them now who are working. I've got a couple now who are driving, which is quite nice. They sort of passed their tests and now they're sort of working, and they didn't do well in school, but they've found another way to sort of be successful. I've got one lad who's my captain this season. He had never kicked a ball until that first tournament. Like genuinely never played football. Come from Afghanistan. He's in foster care. He used to play cricket. Never really knew what football was. Came here. And now he's in the 2.5-3 years that I've had him, he's caught up to everyone, and it takes the lad 2 hours to get to football, and he's the first one here, and the sort of determination has sort of got him to where he is, and hopefully next season he'll be at a club as well. It's nice to see them in their sort of kits and show that they've literally come from playing in the park to now they're playing against. I had one kid come back just to come see me after a game. Is like, we just beat Newcastle, plays for West Brom, and for that sort of from when he was here, so I've never played 11-a-side, and then 2 years later he's telling me he's beating Newcastle and scoring against them. So them sort of stories and is what keeps me. And I've had the chance to go to Real Madrid. I've trained with their coaches. And things like that. I played in Spain with the lads. We played a team in Spain. So them sort of experiences have had a huge effect on me in terms of my own sort of knowledge of the world, of how people work, and thankfully I've been quite successful outside of football as well because of it. Because from messing about, from not taking life seriously to putting my head down, so, I've got to be a good example. If I can make it and do something with myself, the kids will then respect me. And I think, he's come from the same place we have. He's grown up in the same places that we have, and he's not much older than us. And if he can do something with himself, then so can we. So I always keep that in the back of my mind, and I've always worked. It's sort of made me work harder, and it's really just opened my mind. I'm more empathetic to sort of people's situations, because the kids that I've taken on, I've had kids that have come with duct tape football boots and all sorts, and it's sort of that them experiencing and seeing that sort of day to day and sort of the determination that they have to do well, and if they can do it, I can do it, and they're inspiring me as much as I can inspire them. And another thing that I've always been proud of, I think I've had about, in one team at one time, I've had about 11 different nationalities in one team. I think I can't remember who it was, but they're joking that we're like the United Nations. But I had no segregation in my team, and with everything that's going on outside, everyone's separated, and there's all this stuff in the news, and then there's these issues of racism and religious issues, and these lads who have zero life experience really, have only ever really seen negative things around them. If they can literally put that to aside and play as a team, and they're like brothers, and it's like one big family in the change room, the atmosphere. If I'm honest, it's an easy question to answer. We're in small league. I've got about 6-7 lads, I think 8 that go to Joseph Chamberlain College, and they were all friends with the lad that was stabbed, and was killed. It was actually the night before a game that happened, and then I had to deal with sort of kids crying on the touchline and in the changing room, and they come to football, but they could have been there as well. They could have been involved, but they're busy with football. So in the same sort of friendship circle, you got some lads that are playing football and some lads that aren't, and one of them's dead. And that, it's as simple as that. There's nowhere for these kids to go. I think the last week I had about 40 kids at a training session, first team training session, players from previous seasons and this season. But there's hundreds of kids out there. When we go out, there's 8-9 kids on the corner. God knows what they're doing. But it speaks for itself. You've got one lad that were in the hospital with their friend who's been killed. The only reason they weren't involved because they had football. And if anyone was to question whether it works, that is a perfect example. So if these kids weren't in playing football, I'll give you I've had lads where I've lost. I've got one lad, worked absolute nightmare, great player. I've done best I can for him, and he's been in a lot of trouble. He's on tag, he's been arrested, he's been in all sorts of trouble. But because we didn't have space for him in the under 18, so he started looking for other stuff. As much as I tried to get him back, the sort of where people leaving, he sort of went the other way. Now the under 18s is back and he's heard about it. The lads are like, he's cut everything out. He's getting ready to come back, and that's the sort of, it's not there for them because we don't have the resources, because there's only so many of us. There's only so much we can offer. There's only so much support we get. There is kids that slip through. We can't save everyone. But the fact now he's got the chance to give it another go, he's coming back. And that's someone that's in... Obviously, I'm not going to go into everything that he's involved in, but for him to then make that decision that just because he's got a chance of getting back in the team, he's going to cut it all out. And them sort of examples, it shows, because I take on them kids that they're out fighting, out with taking drugs, whatever they get involved in, or if they've come over, they've suffered, and they have other issues, and it shows a difference. So I think that it's literally as simple as life and death, and that sounds harsh because they're kids, but that's the reality of it. We had 3 kids dying in a week. One of them was my brother's friend, one of them was involved with the football lads, and the other lad, they knew him as well. So it's all in the same circle. You got half that are playing football and staying out of it, and you got the other half who are in prison or dead, or they're going that way, and I think it's just as simple as that.